So good. Alright guys, how's it going? We're going to make some pizza tonight. I have some flour ready to go. This is 500 grams of Italian 00 flour, 00 flour. I have 325 grams of water. I heated it up in the microwave for about 40 seconds. It's at 102 degrees. I need to weigh out my dry yeast right here. It's not instant yeast, it's dry yeast. I'll weigh out 10 grams of salt, 3 grams of yeast. So 3 grams of yeast first. So it's about a teaspoon. And then 10 grams of salt here. It's about 1.5 teaspoons. I have my dough hook here on the stand mixer. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on low speed. And we'll gradually pour in the water. So you may need to scrape it down a little bit. Make sure all the ingredients get nicely combined. So while that's going, I'm actually going to prepare my tomatoes. I have some heirloom tomatoes here. So for the tomatoes, I'm just going to halve them and then season them with salt and pepper. Alright, so it looks like it's more or less combined. I'll let it rest for a second. Go ahead and finish cutting up these tomatoes. This will be my first time using the Italian flour. I've never used it before, so we'll see how good it tastes. I got it on Amazon. So the nice thing about if you're going to be roasting your tomatoes, it'll preheat your oven so that's ready for the pizza. And I actually have my pizza stone here, which we're going to be putting in a second. I usually preheat that for at least an hour at 500 degrees. It always makes my pizzas have a very nice and crunchy crust. So it's definitely something that I would take a look at if you don't have a pizza stone or a pizza steel. I had a pizza stone before, but I found that the pizza steel works a lot better, so that's what I've stuck with. So go ahead and season this with salt and pepper. Make sure that they're nicely coated with olive oil. So I'm going to put the pizza steel in first, and then I'll put in the tomatoes. So I put it in the middle rack. So I'm using glass. One thing to note, if you use glass, decrease the temperature by about 25 degrees to compensate. So I'm at 350 now, so the tomatoes are going to be roasting at 375. I'll need this for a couple more minutes. So I was actually going to do 2 types of sauce. I have a tomato sauce that I made previously with some fennel seeds. I have 2 types of cheese here. I have whole milk cheese and skim milk cheese. And then I wanted to roast some eggplants too. So these are ready to go. I'm just going to slice these up. Yeah, it looks like this is coming together nicely. It's not sticky at all. One of the cool things about making pizza dough is that you can tell, or I guess any kind of bread dough, you can tell that the yeast is working because it gets nice and warm. So I'm going to let this rest for a couple minutes, and then we're going to knead it on low for about 5 minutes. And then once that happens, we're going to roll it up into a ball and then put it into a container with oil, and then let that rest for at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So while that's resting, I'm going to go ahead and finish prepping my eggplant. So these are Japanese eggplant. I'm just going to roast them with a little bit of olive oil for about 30 minutes. And put a little bit of salt. And some pepper. Alright, so now we can make the garlic and olive oil sauce that I love. So I usually use about 4 cloves of garlic and then about a 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of olive oil, depending on how much pizza I'm making. So today we're just doing 2, so I'm just going to do 1/4 cup of olive oil. Alright, so there's my garlic olive oil. We'll let this just sit and marinate for a little bit. So while this is going, I'm going to set out my bowl. Put a little bit of olive oil in it. Okay, so the dough's ready. I'll take off the dough hook and then we'll transfer it to this bowl that I oiled with olive oil, and then we'll let it rise covered. So this is how it looks. It's not too sticky, it's not too dry. So nothing left. Just let this rise for about an hour and a half. And then once we do that, we can split it up into a couple pieces, or 3 or 4 if you want smaller size pizzas. And then we're going to let that rise for another hour or so. And then at that point, we'll be able to roll it out. So can't wait. All right, so the tomatoes and eggplant look like they're about done. Go ahead and take them out. This is how the roasted eggplant looks. These are how the tomatoes look. Actually, I think I'm going to let them roast a little bit more. I'm going to mix it up and get them a little bit drier than they are right now. They look like they still have a good amount of water. So maybe another 30 minutes for these. Alright, so it sounds like my tomatoes are ready. Now look at them. They look a lot more roasted. They look much more roasted now. So I'll let these cool off. I'm going to move my pizza steel to the top rack so that it's just under the broiler. And I'm going to turn up the heat to 500.